pregame show.
Here we are with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson. You're watching the NBA on 2K.
Oh, say does that.
Our national anthem performer, Linda Lind, and we're getting ready to go. It's the NBA here on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Hill, and before the...
Well, guys, he has an admiration for what he called the intelligent, efficient offense played by today's...
All right, David, thanks. Well-seasoned teams coming into this one tonight, Clark. A lot of veterans on both sides. I know you think that's important for both teams.
You know, experience, Kevin, is invaluable, and you only get that from going through the wars time and time again. So veteran players are able to bring that on a night-to-night basis, and they understand the nuances and what it takes to prepare to be ready to play. And so the little things become the big things, and veterans understand that.
And the starting group for the Spurs. Aldridge is at the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Manu is at the 2 with Leonard playing the 3. And it's Parker in at the point.
What a pass by the fearless Manu Ginobili. Great teamwork.
And Barea has it in the corner. Rejected by Gasol. And that'll be Dallas as it goes out of bounds. Mavericks retain possession. Here's Barnes. His numbers are looking pretty good. He's got his scoring average up around 18.5 points a game. And here's Barea outside. Buries it from three-point range.
And, you know, Barea is a fairly consistent three-point threat. You can't sleep on him out there.
Barnes outside. Pass to McRoberts. And there's the feed to Barea. Leonard against Barnes. 6 on the shot clock. Leonard with the steal. Parker outside. Left side Leonard. Outside Aldridge. Spurs passing it around. Here's Gasol, and Gasol slams it in.
Yeah, and that's what you want from your point guard. Parker distributing the ball wonderfully on that possession.
Ball's knocked loose. Stolen by Ginobili. Here's Aldridge, and Aldridge slams it in.
And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Vitally important. I mean, if you relax for a second, you're cooked. You're toast. They learned that lesson there.
Curry kicks to McRoberts. Back to Curry. Noel down low. Defended by Gasol. Feeds to Ginobili. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
Really the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
Yeah, exactly. Prevent the layup, give them a little bump, and then maybe they'll think twice about coming into the lane next time. And if they don't think about it, at least they might be distracted by your presence.
The first free throw is good. And the Mavericks, Clark, certainly have lived up to their name. They've never been scared to break the mold.
Exactly. And you like that about them. You respect it. They were taking threes in volume before everybody else. Now as the league follows suit, they go back to the mid-range game, not content to be followers. They want to be trendsetters.
And the call will be against Tony Parker. That's his first foul. And Seth Curry is going to pick up the foul. That's his first foul. Ginobili against Curry. Aldridge a screen. There's the pick. The shot missing. Now Dallas takes it the other way, coming off that loss against the Timberwolves.
And they had a ton of missed opportunities at the foul line. That's always a game changer.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that lettuce at the line, man. Easy points available at the free throw line. You got to cash those in.
And their offense already in a flow. Some stellar shooting to jump out to this lead.
Quality looks they're getting, and they're capitalizing on them, guys. They have to be happy with this start offensively.
Barnes kicks to Curry. And Aldridge comes over to help. Barea dishes to Noel. The pass to Barnes. Over Gasol. No good off the front iron.
Boy, the defense had gone to sleep, so you got to knock that one down.
Here's Aldridge, and Aldridge slams it in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that one.
And we know he's capable of those memorable ones.
Hey, they've got a nice, comfortable lead here, fellas. Might as well keep it simple. Do it a plain, simple one-hander, just like pound cake.
I would agree. Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Measury, he's checked in for Nerlens Noel. Matthews comes in for Josh McRoberts. Devin Harris is checked in for Curry. And Farrell subbed in for J.J. Barea. Gay with it. Matthews covering. Out left to the wing. Kicks it to Laverne. It's deflected. Fast break Dallas. Here's Barnes. Misses and the dry spell continues.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
And now it's a double-digit lead. Mills has got his first points in this one.
And already with the commanding lead, a terrific offensive performance.
Yeah, and the execution, time and time again, right on point. They're running their offense to perfection.
Just a moment to look back at how things were last season for this team as we look at the shot breakdown for the Mavericks.
And the three-point shot was a huge part of their game plan. When it was falling, it made them very hard to defend. Opponents were stretched out all over the place.
Green against Harris.
In the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons except the strike-shortened one in '99.
And Greg, for the Spurs, they're so competitive. It's inevitable. They just win year after year.
Yeah, but that big three of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the all-time winningest trio in the history of our league, had a lot to do with it. And as that era comes to an end, they're doing a terrific job of just picking up new star talent without skipping a beat.
Now, here's Measury, defended by Laverne. And that one's good, Barnes.
Can't allow Barnes that kind of good position in the post because once he has it, it's dinner time.
And Laverne kicks to Mills. Gay in the corner. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
Yeah, pounding it inside once again. They have taken over this game physically.
Schooling them right now. Taking them to the woodshed. Super aggressive and owning the paint.
And an overpowering first quarter effort. Already a double-digit advantage. Spurs lead by 11. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this. Well, not exactly. Spurs leading by 11. Matthews and Barnes, the forward pair. Devin Harris is out there with Farrell, and it's Measury in at the 5. So that's who Dallas starts the second with. Laverne. Here's Bertanis. It's rebounded by Dallas. Their next game is at Oracle Arena, so a road game with the Warriors. And that'll be the first of a 2-game road trip for them. And Harris wide open. He shoots. That's tipped. One-on-one fast break. Dishes it to Laverne. It's deflected, but they recover it. And that one's good by Gay. And here are the Mavericks now. It's a 13-point game. And Matthews gets it to go. Mark, when you played, you had some great footwork in the paint. Which big men today impress you with their footwork in the paint, in the post?
Man, I tell you, one of the guys I've always loved watching do his thing inside is Zach Randolph. I tell you what, he grits and grinds as well as anybody, and his touch and footwork exquisite because he's not an overpowering or overwhelming athlete. Karl Anthony Towns much the same way. Fairly low to the ground in how they play, but extremely effective in being able to get the position and shot they want. And Enes Kanter, a guy who's starting to impress with his footwork as well.
Josh McRoberts has checked in for Salah Mejri. And San Antonio also making a switch. Parker's checked in. Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut to just 9 points on the basket from Noel.
Really got to admire the way Noel adjusts after contact. Excellent body control by the big man.
And he can smell blood in the water. Excellent finish.
Yeah, no let up. The killer instinct on display, trying to put this team away. I love the tenacity.
And the call will be against Tony Parker. That'll be his second foul of the game. J.J. Barea is checked in for Farrell. Leonard attacking Murray. The rebound by McRoberts.
Allowing no space for the shooter to get comfortable. Just terrific defense.
Yeah, excellent extension on the block. Superb timing as well to swat that one away.
And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
Well, I think that pass caught him off guard, but he showed us board hands too.
Spurs leading by 11. Parker passes to Gasol. Then Gasol with the dunk.
And the stick-with-it attitude of Gasol, just overwhelming the defense with his length.
And here in the second, 2 minutes gone by. The Mavericks have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. There's a screen by Noel and stolen by Murray. Drops in the breakaway layup. And the Spurs lead by 15. And that replay brought to us by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. One of the more exciting plays in basketball. The Mavericks shooting just 29% in this game. They are not a pretty sight out there offensively.
Well, you know, one thing you can be certain of with the Mavs, guys, is they're going to make the most of what they have. I think Rick Carlisle, who actually spent some time as the head coach of the Pistons and the Pacers, is one of the very best in pro sports. He's a master at putting his players in the optimal position for their success.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact, straightforward call, simple.
And the Spurs with some changes. Marcus Aldridge is checked in for Bertans, and it's Ginobili in for DeJounte Murray. You talk about the Mavs keeping some tricks up their sleeves. Their mastery of the zone defense, crucial to their 2011 title.
Yeah, you know, zone defense, Kevin, much less common than man-to-man. Teams don't see it much over the course of a season. Part of the reason that if teams play it effectively, it can be a good tool. They knew if they got good at it, they could stymie unprepared opponents, and that's what they did. Just the way they did against LeBron in Miami in those finals back in 2011.
Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. And the call will be against Tony Parker. That's his third foul of the game.
And that's the tough part of trying to keep him on the floor. Now he picks up that third foul.
Leonard with the steal.
All you have to do is point to their turnovers this quarter. There's a reason the scoreboard looks like it does.
That's been the culprit, the turnovers. I mean, TOs, those kinds of mistakes have really kind of drained their confidence to this point.
The Spurs shooting their third and fourth free throw attempts of the game. Well, Clark, the idea of player loyalty has been a topic the last few years. From your view, do you think players have an obligation to stick with the team that drafted them if they can?
I'd like to see that happen, Kevin. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, and personally, I think it's cool to see guys hang with the team that drafted them as long as they can move forward towards their aspirations and goals individually and as a team. I also never begrudge players that after a time decide they'd like to explore a different opportunity with a different team for whatever the reasons might be that drive that. But traditionally and personally, I like to see players be one-team players if all of the circumstances that lend itself to that being productive are in place.
And the Mavericks call time here.
Yeah, he's got to make some adjustments here. Just too easy to score in the lane against them right now.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should be scoring at will down there easily as they have. I mean, they've got to be more aggressive inside.
A different look for Dallas. Mejri, he's checked in for Josh McRoberts. Barnes comes in for Wesley Matthews. And Harris subbed in for Seth Curry. The Spurs also changing it up. Danny Green, he's checked in for Leonard. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. Barea kicks to Harris. Again, the miss by the Mavericks.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor. and it's all adding up.
Well, you take a look at all of the stats, the team stats, that is, and that's one of the many areas that they've had the advantage. And as a result, they've got a big lead. Boy, he hit his teammate in the perfect spot, led him easily to the bucket. That's what you call a room service assist.
Here's Aldridge. Lays it up and banks it in. Aldridge has got 6 here in this quarter.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Guys, they're looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively for sure.
Anderson with the block. And he recovers it. Nobody near Barnes. His three-pointer's off the mark. Here's Anderson. It's rebounded by Dallas.
And, you know, that's an easy one. You can't miss these shots. Those are makeable shots, especially when the defense isn't on its game.
And so a pretty lopsided game through the first half. It's the Spurs ending the second quarter on a 20-6 run. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thanks.
Thanks so much, David, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after
the 2K Sports Halftime
Ernie
Show.
Johnson here. Got Shaq, got Kenny the Jet. We saw LaMarcus Aldridge lighting it up in the first half. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
They have run their offense straight out of a coach's textbook tonight.
And it's just about time now for the third quarter.
Cars crossing back and forth over the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge as and San Antonio has possession. They lead by the biggest margin of the game, 25. They come into this having outplayed Phoenix the last game.
Playing on the road, always a challenge, but it becomes a heck of a lot easier when you can shoot the 3-ball the way they did.
And, Greg, they were shooting that thing with confidence, boy. Every time they got a clean look from deep, the trigger was pulled. Pow!
On the floor for San Antonio, Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard, the 2 stars at the forward spots. The timeless Parker and Manu are the 1 and the 2. And it's Gasol in at the 5. And the call will be against Tony Parker. That will get him his 4th foul of the game. Here's McRoberts. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. That one on Ginobili. And Clark, when you were growing up, was there one player in pro basketball you tried to emulate or model your game after?
I really didn't pattern my game after any particular player. I tried to piece and parcel from a lot of players. I love the gracefulness of Lou Alcindor, now known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when I first saw him back in the late 60s. At his size and the way he could move and his touch was impressive. And then as I became more of a forward in high school, you looked at guys like Magic Johnson, and I looked at Marcus Johnson out at UCLA. Dr. J was a versatile forward as well. George McGinnis, who ended up becoming a really good friend of mine as I got drafted by the Pacers. Those guys that were big and mobile and had ball skills and shooting skills and rebounded, those were guys that I tried to play like. Well, I think he shot the ball well, guys, but I don't think he shot it enough. The more shots he gets from here on out, the more they'll stretch out this lead.
Farrell's checked in for Dallas. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Murray's checked in for Manu Ginobili. There's a screen by Noel. And the foul called on Kawhi Leonard. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game. The Spurs making a switch here. Burns checked in. Dallas calls timeout.
And a wise move to call timeout there. They need to settle down a bit. They've been playing out of control at times here, and it shows with their turnover numbers.
Farrell for 3. Cans it from downtown. Farrell's got his first 3 points of the game.
Can't give up these looks. I mean, the defense has to be more aggressive guarding the perimeter.
Gasol, no good. The Mavericks have gone 1 of 3 since starting the second half. Farrell passes to Curry. Knocked away. Noel dishes to Curry. And DeJounte Murray gets the whistle that time. That'll be his second foul of the game.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Yep, they'll be trying to draw that next foul quickly so they can start getting those easy chances at the stripe.
And the Mavericks making a change here. Matthews is checked in. Rudy Gay's checked in for the Spurs. 5 to shoot. Good on the three-point shot. Mick Roberts has got 5.
Yeah, that's 2 straight three-pointers they've allowed.
He played his college basketball at Duke. Seth Curry has really emerged as a solid NBA player, even though he was undrafted. A combo guard, he makes shots, and he makes plays.
Bertzinus, he's checked in for Leonard.
No question, he got bumped on that shot.
Yeah, the officials didn't need to talk that one over. It was obvious.
And Seth Curry, much more of a shooter than he is a passer.
We'll see if he can make the transition to point guard that his brother did. I mean, in the meantime, his 6'2" height leaves him something of a disadvantage against bigger shooting guards. But I tell you what, this young man is impressed with his ability to be a solid NBA guard.
Here's Mick Roberts. Comes up empty down low.
Boy, he really bungled that finish.
Murray, good. Murray's got his second bucket of the game to go.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
Lets it fly from 18. And that one's good, Barnes.
Like his mid-range game, Barnes incredibly lethal from the mid-range. When he's got room to shoot, he doesn't hesitate.
And Rudy Gay with the slam.
And Gay has incredible lift on these dunks. Tremendous at slamming it in when given room to fly.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. Excellent work by the talented people in our production truck as well. Mick Roberts got a hand on it. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Murray, good. 6 points for him.
Yeah, getting theirs before the defense can set up.
Perfect execution. That's how you take advantage of a transition opportunity.
Farrell kicks to Curry. Passes it to Barnes. Whistle blows. Yep, that's going to be a travel. And head coach Rick Carlisle approaching a decade with the Dallas Mavericks, and he doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Yeah, and you know that's really remarkable in a profession marked by turnover. He's pretty much anchored in there. The Mavs organization smart enough to recognize they've got one of the best in the business in the NBA, but I would even say one of the best coaches in all of pro sports.
It's good. So it's the Spurs now. They can look forward to the Rockets Arena after this matchup to take on Houston. That'll be the third game of this 3-game road trip. Let's look at the energy stats, how the hustle game has been going for the Spurs.
We've seen them make the extra effort from a defensive standpoint, closing out airspace and sending shots back.
And guys, I think you've got to give them credit for the number of steals they've taken away. I mean, a lot of effort on the defense from them tonight. Let's take a moment now, Kevin, to see how the Spurs are doing in the NBA statisticals currently.
You said it all right there. The hottest shooting team in the league. And that tells you not only are they shooting it well, but they're also focused on creating terrific opportunities for one another.
Marcus Aldridge is checked in for Laverne. So he gets them both.
And even though they're down, they are putting on a show at the free throw line.
Yeah, they're making the most of their opportunities at the stripe, and they'll need to keep it up to take the lead.
Dallas has gone 2 of 3 when they ventured outside the arc in the third quarter. Harris passes to Barnes over Anderson. Anderson with the block. Takes a big high bounce and goes in. 8 points for Harrison Barnes.
Man, he's having quite the quarter, converting at a really high percentage.
Here's Aldridge, and Aldridge slams it in.
And now this game is becoming a showcase for Aldridge. He's been out of control, a one-man team. Now it's just a matter of getting him the ball and getting out of his way.
They set the screen. Here's Farrell. Off target from three-point range. And so it's the San Antonio Spurs holding a very comfortable 25-point lead as the quarter comes to a close. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. And we'll be back with you shortly.
Check it out.
And we're getting underway here in the fourth. The Mavericks shooting just 29% in this game. They are not a pretty sight out there offensively. They've got Mejri. J.J. Barea is out there with Devin Harris. Then there's Dwight Powell. And it's Finney Smith in at the 3. That's the lineup out there for the Mavericks. Shot clock at 6. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. And so it's San Antonio with it. Ginobili dishes to Green. Anderson kicks to Mills. Got a piece of it. An even 3-on-3 break. And Kyle Anderson gets the whistle that time. That's foul number 2 for him. It's stolen by Green.
And that's sort of a picture of what not to do on those last 2 possessions. They're being way too loose with the ball. And when you can outscore your opponent in transition, that's always going to work to your advantage.
Hey, that's a big piece of the pie when you're talking about winning basketball, fast break points. I mean, because most of the time, those are easy hoops.
Clark, a lot of former players had a specific instance when they knew they were special, the way they played the game of basketball. Did you ever have a moment like that where you realized that you could make it as a player?
Yeah, there was a time when that became more realistic to me, Kevin. And I grew up in Cleveland, and during the summers, a lot of the Cleveland Cavaliers would stay in the area and play pickup basketball to stay in shape. And I got a chance to bump heads with a lot of those guys, Jim Jones and the late Terry Furlow, Austin Carr, Bingo Smith, Mike Mitchell. And I was only 15, 16 years old. And while those guys were going at half speed, it gave me the encouragement that I might be able to get to where they were if I continued to work hard and stay healthy. So at 15 or 16, during one of those summers, I began to realize that I might have a chance to realize the dream of being an NBAer.
And White kicks to Gasol. Knocks it loose. Stolen by Anderson. In transition, here come the Spurs. Berton's shot is good.
Well, 6 of their last 10 points coming off the fast break.
So far, we've seen them be a bit careless with the ball.
Simply put, out of control is how they've played thus far. They're going to have to reel it in and show some more discipline.
Well, the commissioner recently said the NBA will review, Clark, the one-and-done rule for college players. Any idea how that will change, if it will at all?
You know what? I'm not sure, Kevin. Quite honestly, when this rule was instituted about 10 years ago now, 10 or 11 years ago, I thought it would be good. I felt 1 year of college, if a guy was fully invested in that experience, would be better than no years. But I also understand college is not for everybody. And I'm actually of the mindset now that you should be allowed to leave right out of high school if you so choose. But if you do go to college, I would like there be a rule in place that there's a commitment to 2 years. I just think that would benefit all involved, the players, the universities, and I think the NBA would get a more mature and an NBA-ready prospect. That being said, I think we're going to end up, kind of where we are right now. I don't know if anything is going to change in the near future.
Laverne, he's checked in for San Antonio. Free throw drops for Gasol.
And over the years, Gasol has proven himself to be a valuable teammate, someone guys love to be around, a guy that plays well with just about anybody.
Now here's Barea, guarded closely. Got him with the pump fake, but couldn't finish. The Spurs have gone an outstanding 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter so far. Gasol's shot is good.
And guys, this is the blueprint for winning on the road. How about the level of focus on each and every possession?
Yeah, it's actually palpable, isn't it, Greg? I mean, you can feel it. Every single one of these guys locked in, playing for each other. And that's why they're up.
And we just had one of the closer MVP races in recent memory. Clark, do you define the MVP as a player with the most impressive stats, or the best player on the best team, or somewhere in between?
Kevin, to me, the MVP is an individual award. Clearly, we play a team game in the NBA, and a team's performance is part of that, but it's a small part of it to me. An MVP performance is one that not only has consistent high-level statistical production, influences winning at a good rate, but also stands out in the magnitude of the moments this player has over the course of the season. Those two things drive the needle for me as an MVP voter if I had such a vote.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it, just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Spurs.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category.
And so looking at their number, this will be win number 22 on the year.
And tonight's win will put them up 2-1 in what has become a really intense season series, giving them a tentative edge here with one still left to be played against the Mavericks.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Aldridge.
It was the kind of game for him that all scorers dream of, where the basket seemed as wide as a barrel.
No one near Curry as he lets it go. And he's good on the three ball.
And you can see the play calling this half. Another one from distance.
Well, they're dialed in, locked and loaded from outside the arc. It's all about the triple so far.
And LeVert throws it down.
And how much longer are they going to keep that foot on the accelerator?
As long as required, Greg. I mean, you can tell they want to put this thing to bed.
Curry against Green. With some arc. And the play by Curry as he finishes it off for two.
Resplendent release on the floater. When executed correctly, it's a beautiful, effective shot.
Count the basket.
Tremendous effort here on the road. That plane ride home is going to be sweet.
No doubt about it, partner. But unfortunately, the flip side of that coin, the drive home for the hometown fans, going to be rather flat.
And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
That's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And now we'll send it over to David. David, thank you as always. Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg.